With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey. This is a bunch of stuff, deal.
What does that mean, a bunch of stuff?
Well, it means it's simply inaccurate.
It's Irish.
Exactly, it is. We Irish call it malarkey.
Thanks for the translation.
No, we Irish call it malarkey.
You know what this is? Yeah, and I reserve this word for those rare instances when it's truly deserved. This is malarkey.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
From the King Spring Studios here in Smyrna, Georgia. This is A Bunch of Malarkey. I'm Charlie McMahon. I'm your host. Thank you for joining us. This is our maiden voyage episode. We're getting it off the ground here with an abbreviated episode of A Bunch of Malarkey. We thank you for joining us. Our first full episode with our co-host will be somewhere between August 13th and the 17th. We will let you know when that is going to be up and ready on iTunes. But thank you for joining us for this one. Oh, it is another hot day here in the Atlanta area. I mean, basically the heat just lasts from March through November. You get a little break for your turkey and Christmas, and then you brace for tornado season, and then you sweat your ass off once again. So don't even want to leave the house this time of year. But the weather's just half the problem. I mean, you can't even go to the store anymore without dealing with mutants and assholes. I mean, I was at, we don't even do food shopping anymore. They have this thing now with the local supermarkets. It's called like a click list or something. Basically, you do your shopping online, your food shopping, you put everything into a cart, and you set a pickup time where you're going to just pull into a parking spot outside, and they basically bring it out to you after you call them, so you don't have to deal with going up and down the aisles and all that bullshit and dealing with idiots. But occasionally they're out of something, and I have to go to the store. And, besides the heat, I just don't like leaving the house anymore. I went to the store the other day, and I walk into the produce section, and there's this woman with this, you know the fake bubbly bullshit smile. She's handing out samples of pineapple, like cut pineapple. They must have been ready to rot. The store manager told her, cut that up, put some toothpicks in it, and give it away. So there was a bunch of people gathered around just eating pineapple off toothpicks. So like an idiot, I go by and make eye contact with this woman. She says, "Do you want to try some pineapple?" And I said, "No, thank you." She goes, "Why not?" Like she's challenging me, like, why don't I want to try the fucking pineapple? I said, "Ma'am, I'm in my 40s. I think I know what pineapple tastes like." And she just gave me like this dirty look, like I turned down, like she crawled through the Amazon rainforest for some exotic fruit that she dug up that I turned down. It's a fucking pineapple. Everybody's had a fucking pineapple. Listen, I can't leave the house. I can't deal with the public anymore. Not to mention, you go in these supermarkets, and you get used to the way things are. You get used to where the pickles are, the juices, you get used to it. And then all of a sudden they decide every 6 months to rearrange the fucking store. So there you are on your hands and knees looking around for the tuna fish, for whatever else you need. I needed a jar of minced garlic last week. So I said, let me start out in the produce aisle, near the regular garlic, near the basil. They have like little jars of shit, appetizers and produce. It wasn't there. So my next strategy, let me go where the Italian stuff is. They have like a little Italian section. Nah, not there. They have ragu pizza sauce there, but not minced garlic. Okay. So I'm like, all right, maybe they consider it a condiment. So I'm going to go over to where the pickles are and roasted red peppers and all that stuff. No, wasn't there. So I'm out of options now. I'm going up and down every aisle looking for I know what the jar looks like. I'm going up and down the aisles. I'm looking for this shit. And finally, I find somebody. Try to find somebody on a sales floor nowadays. Everything's automated. You got to bag your own, scan your own. Pretty soon you'll be mopping up aisle 7. So I finally find somebody. He had no idea what I was even talking about. He said, "Garlic's in the produce." No, I said, "No, it's in a jar. It's not fresh garlic. I don't think we sell that." I go, "You've had it here before." You ask somebody else, they tell you the pickle aisle. You go down the pickle aisle. You ask 5 different people, you get 5 different answers. So finally, there was a guy. He must have been like a manager or something. He tells me where it is. It's in the meat department. Yeah, that makes sense. Fucking meat and garlic, they really go hand in hand. So, this is the shit. This is the malarkey that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And that's what this show is going to be about. dealing with assholes, dealing with mutants, dealing with family, dealing with the public. We all want to say shit that we hold back on a lot of the times. On this podcast, we're going to say it. We're going to hear your stories. You're going to hear our stories. And we're going to get all our frustrations out, whether you're in the car driving home from work in a shitload of traffic because people don't know how to drive because a couple of drops of rain fell, or you're on the toilet at work taking advantage of shit time on the boss's dime, which is fine also. It's a shit show on this podcast, so it's very appropriate. I'd rather have you on the toilet listening than not listening at all. Or if you're on the treadmill at work, treadmill at the gym, after work, wherever you want to listen, we welcome you. We are going to be very interactive on social media. We want you to join us on Facebook. And we go to Facebook, and then in that little white search bar on the top, you know what it is. I shouldn't have to explain this. If you're on Facebook, you know how to search for something. It's the @ A Bunch of Malarkey Pod Show, and you will find us. If you're over on Twitter, we are @Malarkey Pod Show on Twitter. So that's @Malarkey Pod Show Twitter and @A Bunch of Malarkey Pod Show on Facebook. So look for us there. We're going to be very interactive. We're going to have co-hosts. We're going to have regular co-hosts. We're going to have guest co-hosts. And you don't have to be in this area to come into the little studio we have here. We can have you co-host via telephone, Skype, whatever. We're going to get you on. We're going to get your malarkey up for the world to hear. So you do need to follow us on Facebook and Twitter so you know what's going on. And we want to hear your malarkey stories as well as ours because we've got plenty. So we're also going to do some Facebook live feeds. We're actually going to do video of the podcast so you can watch it on Facebook when you get home from work. If you can't catch the live, you can catch it. It saves it as a video for you to watch later on. And those are for the days I actually feel like putting pants on. I won't do it in my pajama pants like some of these people that show up at the airport and supermarket. I don't know where the fuck these people think they're going, but they show up in pajama pants to court, to the supermarket, to the airport. You won't see me in pajamas. So the days I actually feel like putting some pants on, we will do some live feeds. And we'll also do some wrap-up show type stuff where we will come on and tell you what the show that day was all about, when it will be posted up on iTunes and other hosting sites, give you a little tease on what we're talking about to actually make you want to come back and enjoy the show, pique your interest a little bit. So that is what we are going to be about. We hope that you will be joining in on a regular basis. Again, we will be very interactive on Twitter and Facebook, so look for us daily. You're scrolling through bullshit anyway, all the politics and the other crap that we're not going to be talking about. Listen, folks. If you want politics and you want Kardashians and all that bullshit, you know where to go for it. We have our own material here. We're going to try and make you laugh with our real-life stories, not this fake Big Brother. He stole my apple out of the refrigerator. Who's sleeping with who? We're going to have some real-life stories here, interactions with the public, and we're going to hear yours. So if you want real entertainment, this is where to come. Politic-free. Listen, I don't care what side you're on. Let's face it, folks, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're all fucked. We all got to get up and go to work. We're all going to work till we're basically a foot and a half in the grave. Let's be honest with you. Who's looking out for us? So there'll be no politics and no debates. I mean, if something really funny happens in the news as far as politics goes, we may touch on it, but we're not going to get into the whole your side, my side. It's a shame we have to be on sides anyway. In this country, and not in just recent times, for the last 20 years or so. So we're just not going to go there. You can find that anywhere else if you want to go yelling at strangers on Facebook and making them, actually trying to convince yourself you're going to change their opinion. You have fun with that, but we're going to stick to malarkey. Malarkey, I guess it's an Irish word for bullshit, trivial little details, and that's what we're going to talk about, little things. Like we open with the pineapple, the supermarket, the bullshit that goes on there. Even at Starbucks, forget supermarkets. You always get. I always say the more complicated the person's Starbucks order is, the bigger the asshole they are. Seriously, if you're behind someone who orders like a half soy, half low-fat, iced vanilla, double-shot gingerbread cappuccino, extra dry, light ice with a sweet and low and some agave, that person's a complete asshole. Could you imagine these people at a restaurant if that's how they are over a cup of fucking coffee? But this is what we have to deal with. When you step out of the house, this is what you have to deal with. There's no avoiding it. Everywhere you go, from the supermarket to a parking lot. Don't get me started on parking lot, folks, because I have a book coming out late September, early October. It's called A Whole Lot of Shenanigans. It's about my 2.5 years working in a parking lot by the courthouses here in the Atlanta metro area. It's funny. It's in the editing phase right now. It's coming out. We'll give you a release date on that, but we'll be reading some excerpts from that to get you interested in the book. But like I said, you can't even go to a parking lot without complete and utter bullshit and malarkey. That's what it all boils down to. Just a bunch of malarkey, and that's what we're going to be discussing. So we want to hear yours. You're going to hear ours, and this is going to be a sounding board for malarkey and the bullshit that goes on that we can't avoid, folks. So just wanted to give you a teaser on what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be a lot funnier. I'm just getting warmed up, folks, just setting the table here. So we hope you come back for our first full episode where we're going to have a co-host. I will be announcing that on Facebook and Twitter on who that's going to be next week. And if you have interest in co-hosting, whether you're from the area and you want to stop down at our little studio here, or if you want to do it via computer, Skype, whatever the hell, Facebook, not Facebook, I can't even, FaceTime, I'm sorry. I hate that FaceTime. You're sitting around on the holiday, crumbs on your chest, pumpkin pie all over your mouth, and then your in-laws want to call and, with 20 people in their dining room from New York and want to talk to you, and you haven't shaven in 2 days, you're scratching your crotch, and they want to FaceTime. I always saw it on the Jetsons where you'd be able to talk to somebody through a thing. I never actually thought it would come true. But unfortunately, that's what we're in. Technology, as great as it is as bad as it can be. And I'm not a big fan of that FaceTime. Unless, of course, I have some advance notice and I can, again, put some pants on, shave, or actually look presentable. But not that I'm vain or anything. Trust me, folks. I have a perfect face for podcast and radio. That's why I'm doing it. If I was a model, I might be posing in underwear or something on YouTube. Who the hell knows? But it's just we'll do the interactive stuff on Facebook, Twitter, and like I said, you don't have to be in the area. If you want to guest host with me, we can do it through these apps, these freaks of nature known as technology. So that is where we're at. We hope to have you listen in next week. We're going to have a co-host. We're going to have fun. Until then, we'll catch you on Twitter. Once again, if you are on Twitter, I think everybody is nowadays, but it's Malarkey Pod Show, at Malarkey Pod Show on Twitter, and at A Bunch of Malarkey Pod Show on Facebook. On Facebook, look for the little art with the rainbow going into the pot of shit, not the pot of gold, because when you get here, it's just a pot of shit, because that's all we're going to be talking about. So look for the pot of shit with the rainbow and the laughing shit turds or emojis, whatever you call them. That's us. So I think some other dude has a Bunch of Malarkey podcast that he only did one episode of like 100 years ago, and you look for the shit. That's us. Anyway, folks, beware. It's a shit show out there. Take care of yourselves, and we will hopefully have you tuning in between the 13th and the 17th of August. Thanks so much. You take care out there.